I've had a lot of people in DMs, comments, even my affiliates in real life telling me, Admiral, you're a scammer. I said, excuse me. They go, you promised a 50,000 Q&A. I've Q&A at 50k followers. We're now 65,000. It's been 2 weeks. Where's the Q&A? Now, I want to apologize for my technological incompetence, which is resulting in these delays. But alhamdulillah, I've got it set up now. We're ready for the Q&A. When I started this off in December, did I imagine 50,000 of you guys, or 65k now, would be willing to listen to my stories, would think my stories are so interesting, you'll follow, I never expected it, but alhamdulillah, always, I'm very thankful to each and every single one of you, especially because TikTok, we know TikTok is like a brain rot app. You come on TikTok to scroll. My shortest story time is 40 minutes and you're here following. I just want to give you guys a massive thank you. Now, like I said, story time, Q&A for all my stories. I've got a lot of questions over the months I've been doing this, and I'm here to answer them. So we're going to start off with the most common question, the one that everybody asks. Am I faking my stories? Are they all fibs? Are they works of my overactive imagination? Now I'm going to go on the record here, write this down. Unless I say explicitly beforehand, unless I make it clear that this is not my story, I'm telling it on behalf of somebody else. For example, the G-Star story. It's not me who was baited into the building to jump off third floor. That was somebody else, but I make it clear. Otherwise, every single one of my stories, they belong to me. My story times, things that happened to me. AD, Admiral Deco, authentic details. Now, second question I get asked the most is, where did I study? People always like to ask, where do I study? Because in my stories I mentioned studying abroad. So they say, where do you study? I spent some years studying abroad in Turkey. That's where some of the more craziest stories, when I was a bit older, that's where they take place. Now, if you want particular details, hopefully don't try coming in here doxing me. I live in Ankara, Turkey. Now, let's move on to the more niche story times. A lot of people they're very curious about how tall I am. So for whatever reason, people ask, how tall is bro? I'm 5'6". Now, moving on. We're gonna move on to the first question of the day. Before we get started though, actually, I do want to give a shout out to one guy. If you've been following me from before, you know that I'm a certified hater. I'm vouched and I'm verified for. I am a hater to my core. So when I see a fellow hater who's good at what he does, a master of his craft, I cannot help but respect his hustle. And this guy here, every single of my story times, he's there hating. He's just making up as he goes along. Goes to my next video, he's just telling us some BS. Good storyteller though. And can you see the sprinkling of these backhanded compliments? They level out the hating so he doesn't get filtered up by he's a genius. I respect his grind. Now, first question of the day, we have Sean. What would a 10-year-old version of you think of the you right now? Well, Sean, I'm disappointed to say, 10-year-old version of me, he had a life goal. My 10-year-old self had a plan. At 21, he expected to have a job, a wife, kids, a house, car, degree. I'm now 22, still studying. I'm unemployed. I'm telling stories on TikTok. So safe to say, my 10-year-old version of myself, he would not be able to fathom that I'm here, a bomb in today's day and age. But jokes aside, alhamdulillah, 10-year-old version of me, he'd be very proud of what I've done, what I've accomplished, and who I am. Next up, we have VRX Seti. He or she goes, bro, why not lock auntie in her room then? This is for my more recent story times where I stayed overnight at my boy's house and his auntie was possessed by a jinn. We were stuck in the house under the same roof as his possessed auntie. He asked, why don't we lock her in the room? That's a great suggestion. Except for the fact that houses in Somalia, they lock from the inside only. So now VRX Seti, I've gone inside the room. I lock myself in that room with this auntie who's possessed. Who's going to save me? Who will save me from her wrath? And you might ask, cool, what if you go and you jump out of the window? That's a great suggestion, but you have to understand one thing. When I jump out of that window and the window's open behind me, who's going to stop her from coming out of the window to terrorize that town? Best solution is what we did. Lock yourself into your room, leave her to roam that house. Let's see what she can do. That's the best solution. That's what we took. Now, we have Top Fellow. Top Fellow says, so you've been there for only 5 years. He's talking to somebody else. This guy is telling a story from his childhood and he looks maybe late 20s. I look like I'm he skipped my I just entered my 20s. You want to be going to late 20s saying I'm talking about stories from 10 plus years ago. Nice one. Thank you for that, Top Fellow. Thank you. Now, if you've been part of my community long enough, you know it's a bit of a running gag. People like to ask, where do I study? I just provide roundabout details to kind of dance around the question. But I will give credit to this one person. She did find out where I was staying. Aisha the first, she goes, this story is pissing me off so much because it's exactly what I expect from that country. Now, the way she worded it, it seemed like she knew what country I was studying. So I had to clarify. I asked, I said, have you figured it out? And she said, I can tell from your ceiling. Can you see these women? You have to fear them. You have to because how are you making that deduction from just the decoration on my ceiling? You want to be guessing my geographical location. Nice one. Metropolitan Police, they need people like you. Aisha, go and help them. Go and help them. Now, we have Dario 2.0. He says, so basically, you're admitting to being a certified, diplomed, 99 overall, all badges, two-way, three-point shot creating snitch. This is in reference to one of my stories where I was fundraising in a little town outside of London. Some 3 hooligans came to harass me and give me grief. Later on, they also tried to start a situation with this one guy who was very, very friendly, very nice to me. When the police came, I provided the police with details in exchange for a ride back to the station. Yes, Darius 2.0, Dario, I'm a good guy, I'm a civilian, I'm a law-abiding citizen. If somebody breaks into my house today, I will call up the police, tell them, please send 5 teams to come and assist me. So Dario, now why would I not assist the police in their investigation? To all of you criminals out there, please don't commit crimes around me. I do my duty, I do my stuff as a good Samaritan. 2025, we're here snitching. That's the motto. Unless you're my friend, in which case I'll let you slide. Now, we have Brazilian flag, Indian flag, Germany flag. He goes, Unc, my question is, when did you stop doing this crazy business? And I'm disappointed to say I'm a big age, I'm still on my BS. I'm a big age, I'm still getting into situations. Let me break it down for you. This took place in December. I'm staying in Ankara in Turkey, that's what I'm studying. 2 of my boys, they come flying from England. They come from London, they touch down in Antalya. Now they rent a vehicle, drive down to the city I'm staying at, they stay with me for 1 week. Now the day before their flight's at 10 a.m. the next morning. Instead of driving early in the morning, we say we're going to drive up there the night before. We're going to go to Antalya, we're going to rent an Airbnb. Next morning, I'm going to fly back to my city, they'll fly back to England. Sounds like a good plan. We start our road trip. We're there driving, posted, everything's going fine. We're having a time of our lives. We get to Antalya, now we return the vehicle. It's already, it's off to a bad start because they take £20 off his deposit because he returned the vehicle dirty. They call it a cleaning fee. That's extortionate, but that's besides the point. Now we're looking for an Airbnb to stay for the night. Cool. We find a booking, we find a listing, 4 beds in 1 room. We said, cool, we'll take that. We go there. The 3 of us jump out of the taxi. When we get out of the taxi, we find the building. It looks very, very different to what's shown on the image. So we ask a few of the residents, is this the correct address? They look at it, they say, it looks right to me. Okay, say no more. Now we go up to the building. We look at the number of house numbers, the door numbers on the building. Our Airbnb listing is door number 14. This building goes up to 12. The highest door number on this, the highest door number is 12 on this building. Number 14 doesn't exist here. We're looking for 14 and frantic because we just paid money for this building and nightfall is setting in. We need to sleep if we want to wake up early enough for the flights. So now we're left wondering what to do. We call up the number on the listing. We call him up. He goes, where you guys at? I'm waiting for you. We say, yo, the building that we're at, it only has 12 houses. What do you mean door number 14? He goes, send me your live. You're at the wrong place. I'll get someone to pick you up. We send him our live location on WhatsApp. Now we're waiting 5 minutes, 10 minutes. A white BMW M3 pulls up. Custom exhaust, custom tires. We're losing our minds. Jump in the vehicle. The guy's ragging it. 250, 280 kilometers per hour. Driving, flying. We get there. When we get to the place, we take the suitcase out of the car, jump out of the BMW. We turn and there's 4 men standing line in a row behind us. One guy says, come this way. He directs us down a dark alleyway. At this point, I'm convinced my liver will end up in Malaysia. My eyeball, it will go to some rich billionaire's child. Maybe not my eyeball because my vision's not the greatest. Maybe one of my friends. But I'm convinced that I'll wake up in 5 different places tomorrow. We get led down the alleyway. We follow them down there. They say, leave your bags at the entrance. There's a little door. They say, leave your bags outside. Go inside. We enter. When we enter, there's 1 lamp coming from the ceiling. 1 lamp. There's a ceiling lamp and there's 1 lamp in the background just there posted. There's a guy sitting behind the table just smoking the fattest cigar you've seen in your life just there posted. Behind him, he's got 1 guy arms crossed security like this. He's holding arms clutched down by his groin. Behind us, the other 4 men, they shuffle into the room. Now we're there posted. He goes, yo, give me your passport. I'm thinking he'll take my passport, he'll go and commit heinous activities with my passport, and then he'll leave it there so police will come to arrest me. That's what I'm worried about. I put it down on the table. He takes an image of it, takes a picture of my friends, my other friend as well. And he goes, I have your ID. If you guys mess up, if you bring anybody back to the room, if you do this, if you do that, I will find you. And I'll give your details to the police. You'll be arrested at the airport tomorrow. We say, thank you, whatever. We're not even on that, so that's fine for us. Now we need to go find some place to eat. We're quite far from the city. We're driving for about 20 minutes. At that speed, we've gotten a fair distance away from the city. So we hit the main road. We're now hitchhiking, putting out our thumbs because we don't want to pay for a taxi there and a taxi back. To save money, we say it's still it's not that late. Let's try hitchhike to the city. We're putting out our thumbs. 1 car passes, 2 car passes, and then a black Range new pulls up. The tints on that Range Rover, you cannot see outside of the vehicle. Forget looking, you can't see from outside. Cool. Get in the Range, red leather seats. There's a guy in the passenger seat, 40-year-old man. He's got a beard, black puffer jacket, he's got a cap, dark sunglasses at night, and that's how you know it's treacherous. He says, where you guys headed? We tell him the location. Now he asks us, where you guys from? We go, we're Somali. Say no more. Where you headed? Like, where you coming from? We say, we're students, we're studying in Ankara. We don't want to seem like we're tourists. We say, studying in Ankara. We're going to fly back tomorrow. He goes, that's good. Where you been studying? We tell him everything. Then he pulls out a gun. He goes, do you know what this is? Now, at that point, we said, hey, we have to act like we're good kids. We don't know what he's talking about to preserve our safety. We go, no, we've never seen one before. He goes, wow. He goes, okay. He's showing it to us. And you can tell he's enjoying the fact that we look like we're innocent. He goes, yeah, wow. He starts showing us pictures, him with kilos, bricks, him with just big. He's showing us images. And then the driver takes a wrong turn. We're showing the driver maps. Driver takes a wrong turn. He smacks the life out of the driver, tells him eyes on the road. Driver's a young guy, 24, 25. I'm thinking he's new to this lifestyle. This guy here, we now understand he's a big boss certified gangster. Drops us off at the main strip, we get off the vehicle. And then he gives us his phone number. He goes, if you get into any situations, give me a call. 5 minutes, I'll have somebody there to sort it out for you. We say, thank you, big bro, but that's not us, you get it. We're not going to cause any problems. Now, by these points, my story times were gaining a bit of attention. So for this one here, I even have photographic and video evidence of our excursion. I'll upload it somewhere for you guys to verify with your own eyes. But we get back home safe that day. Everyone flies back. Life is good. But to answer your question, Brazilian flag, Indian flag, and Germany flag, when did I stop? What gave the impression that I stopped? I'm still on my BS. I'm still out there living. If people ask, how do you have so much experience and stories to tell? Number one, grow up in South London. You'll see the most sophisticated, well-dressed gentlemen out there operating. You turn your eyes and you look, you see a half-naked crackhead on the same road. Go to Bricks and you'll just see the people of all sorts. Number two, move abroad. Go and see the world. This world is so much bigger than just the ends. If you go outside and you look around at life, you'll understand that there's so much more to see. You'll have stories just like me. Last but not least, I'm outside 24/7. As a kid, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll eat breakfast. What do? I'm outside. Do I come home? I don't come home to pray. I come home to piss. I come home to eat and I go straight back outside. As a kid, I was outside 24/7. Do the same, you'll find stories. They'll find you, in fact. Now, last but not least, to wrap up this Q&A, we have Johnny Christopher. He says, didn't you say when you were 15 in Somalia, you got threatened with a small spear by a kid your age? Now you're saying 17 is the first time you've been threatened with a weapon. You've finally been caught. Johnny, 2 things. Number 1, you're an intelligent man. I like you. Why? Because you're paying attention to my stories, Johnny. Number 2, you are also a bum because your inference skills, they're not up to par. Your inference abilities, they're subpar, Johnny. Why? Because when you're 15 years old in Somalia and I got threatened by a spear, in this situation, Johnny, I'm more astonished, I'm more bewildered at the fact that this guy here has pulled a spear out of his inventory. Now, while I'm still reeling from that fact, I'm in disbelief. He pulls out a second spear. I don't feel threatened. I feel shocked. I feel like this is not real life. He then tells me, come here if you're bad. I'm not bad, therefore I didn't go there. That means I'm safe from his wrath. I was not threatened. When I was 17, however, me and this kid, we got into a physical altercation. We got into a fight. After I beat the life out of him, he goes home, enters his kitchen, opens the drawer, pulls out what he needs to pull out, comes back to the pitch. What do you think is on his mind, Johnny Christopher? He has intention to hurt me. In that situation, my life is in danger. He says verbatim, bar for bar, he tells me, I will insert this blade where you're breathing. In that case, Johnny, I was threatened. That was the first time in my life I was threatened. When I was 15, it was just that one there was more shocking than it was scary. It was more outrageous than it was threatening. Now that wraps up our first episode of Admiral Talks podcast every single Friday, 7 p.m. Inshallah. Stay tuned. God willing, I'll have a new episode out for you guys to watch. And people, they've been grilling me in my comments saying, yo, you're slowing down with the story times. I'm pleased. It's my privilege to announce 30 days of Ramadan, 30 story times. You guys are loving the jinn stories. We're going to keep that momentum going. But I've got only one jinn story left to tell you guys. So I sat there thinking to myself, what do I do after I run out of stories? And then it hit me because in the comments of my videos, you guys are sharing your experiences with me. You're sharing your jinn stories and I enjoyed reading every single one of them. So what we're going to do is you guys DM me, email me, whatever. Just get in touch. Tell me your stories. If your story is interesting enough, I'll get back in contact with you. We'll jump on a call. You explain your story to me and I'll tell it for you to the world. 30 days of Ramadan, 30 story times. I got you. Make sure you subscribe. Go and follow the TikTok. Stay tuned.